Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Danny Naz, aka. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Danny Naz, aka the Pup, bringing you the midweek review for this fine Wednesday. I hope everybody's had a good day in the markets. We've obviously had some fireworks this week with TOS going down Monday and Tuesday. TOS, is it POS? Instead of TOS, is it POS? Is it loss? LOS? S? I don't know, but frustrating. Missing, I think it was Tesla on Monday, Amazon on Tuesday. A little bit laggy this morning again, but turned out to be okay. So we move on. What can we do, right? We can complain. We can tweet at them. What are they going to do in the end? They're not going to do anything. So we can vote with our dollars like everything else, right? So in any event, this is our midweek review. I'm going to go over 11 stocks that are on my radar, things that either I own or I'm looking to potentially own. And let's start with apps. Apps Digital Turbine, APPS, bought this a few weeks back. Currently up around, I think, 25% in the position, but as you can see from the chart, let me pull up my annotation tool. Let's go with green today. Yeah, I mean, we had this gap up. We've been riding the 20 simple moving average. We had this potential resistance at 1629. We gapped up to 1926, quickly ran right to 2432. Consolidated for two candles, and we're off to the races again. So I'm looking for a potential target at this 4618 extension from our previous swing high, swing low. And that's what I'm looking for on apps. 29, I just covered it, so 29.57. That's what I'm seeing on apps. I mean, it's got a strong, it's got a strong trend right here. Let's get this drawing tool up. You can see we've got a bit of a high and tight flag here, so I mean, not really much to say about this. I mean, I'm probably moving my stop loss somewhere under 24.32 if we potentially come back and retest this rising 20 simple moving average. But I mean, we go with the trend. The trend right now is up, so that's apps. Next up is eBay. eBay, we had a trigger of $57 in the room. You can see basically, our swing high anchored VWAP was right here about 56.54. We had some previous candle resistance here around $57. You saw we had a false breakout here. I think this was Friday last week. We actually entered here. On Monday, I actually added some more contracts because we retested and held this swing high anchored VWAP. We're also over the 20 simple moving average. So for me, that's a winner right there. And, we're moving up. We've got this nice little channel. We did hit a little bit of resistance at our first target, 58.23. Not surprised about that. We did sell off from that wick right there. And, I think we will start to potentially either consolidate here, or if we can make it back into this channel here, maybe we consolidate here, or we eventually pop up. And I'm looking for this to at the very least, retest $61. So, we had a little bit of selling into the close. We had the FOMC today. And, it is what it is, right? We've been running pretty hard. There's always going to be a news-driven event that's going to pull us back before we eventually rip higher. So that's what I see, at least. Next up is Facebook. Facebook we did really well with. We had some long calls that we initiated yesterday for September 18th. Those really spiked today, and so we did exit some of those. And we also had a short-term play this morning where we bought contracts on the break of 264 and basically sold the top right into this resistance right here. So a day trade, a swing trade, we do it all. Moving on. Next up is GRWG. That's the story of the week. I pre-drew in my rocket ship here. It's just been a beautiful, beautiful move. I actually got in, no kidding. Let's see, boom, boom. I got in right here. I actually bought pre-market on Monday. Sunday we had our Zoom call. For any of you who have joined us on Zoom, you know what our Sunday Zoom calls are. And based on these two candles right here, I said, listen, if we get over 1350, the 2618 extension from our previous move, this thing could rocket right back up to $20. And you can see, I'll zoom back out. You can see we had this long wick. Here we go, right there. And so that's why I was very confident that we were going to head back to $20. And sure enough, rocket ship just took off and blasted right through $20. That I did not expect. Yeah, if you want to know what the next levels for GRWG are, come join us in the room. We have this all mapped out for everybody who's in the trade. We've already de-risked this. Shares are up around 58%. Contracts are up around 400%. We've been doing really well about calling out what's going on Sunday evening for what we're looking at for the week. So please join us on our Zoom. Feel free to drop me a direct message on Twitter. Happy to let you join us on that Sunday 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Zoom call. And so you can see what we're all about. So next up is Nike. Not my typical type of play, but some of the guys and gals in the room do like Nike, so we do comment on it. So we were looking at this 104.35 to 105.69 zone. We have been flagging over it, and we had finally our breakout today. So some of the team got in on this. I personally did not take it. Like I said, Nike, not my cup of tea. And that's okay. You know, you have to trade what you know, what you like, and what you feel comfortable trading. For me, I like high momentum, high velocity stocks. I trade options, so that's how I trade. So Nike's too slow of a mover for me. But in any event, now that we've secured this breakout over 107.40, I could potentially see this at some point moving up to our 1618 extension from this previous swing high to swing low, breakout maneuver. Moving on. Invitae. I've been talking about Invitae for so long, and I've been telling everybody in the room, buy these dips to $28. Well, guess what? Loaded the boat right here on these three candles. On this sell-off, I knew that we were going to hit $28 based on this candle, this candle, this candle, this candle, and that candle. These candles right here told me exactly what I needed to know about where price was going to stop. And sure enough, we stopped right in my little box. And so what did I do? I loaded the boat. I added my shares, I added my contracts, and guess what? We went right back to 33.47. Now, we have a little bit of a spinning top today. Not surprised again, because we knew that this is where we were headed. And so I'm waiting to see. Maybe we consolidate. You know, maybe we have a throw over and we retest this symmetrical triangle breakout. Let me wait for that to clear. You know, maybe we do something like this and then we retest and break out. I mean, you know, we're just watching it at this point. You know, I would keep my stop losses somewhere around $32 just so I can lock in my profit, but I'm not too concerned. I like Invitae. My contracts, I sold a little bit today. I'm probably going to sell a little bit more if I see that we're going to struggle around this 33.47 level. But you know, for my shares, for me, this was a long-term entry right here. I like Invitae long-term. It's I think it's the number 2 holding for ARK Invest. Kathy Woods, you guys who follow me know I'm a big fan of her work and her team's work. So yeah, Invitae for the win. Next up is Pinterest. We've done really, really well on Pinterest. You know, we did buy here yesterday. I did sell into this 37.54 resistance, and I wound up rolling up my contracts. I was in the, I think it was in the 40 calls for this week, sold at like maybe 60, 70%. And then I rolled up somewhere on this sell-off in the middle. I rolled up to the 40 calls for September 18th. I think some of the guys and gals got into the 38 calls for September 18th. Just wanted to give myself a little more time as we come up to these all-time highs on Pinterest at 37.54. I just don't know how long it's going to take for us to eventually break out. We obviously had this false breakout here. So I think if we can consolidate somewhere in the zone, we can build our volume shelf right here. You guys know I love my volume shelf. And eventually if we can consolidate here and then rocket ship up, I think we'll start to make our way to that $40 price target. All right, so that's Pinterest. I do like it long term. And if you notice, small caps have been running the last couple of days, IWM, Russell 2000 type stocks. Tech has really taken us to the promised land. It's taken us to all-time highs. Now we need small caps to bring us, further higher. And so let's see what the rest can do. Next up is Snap. So Snapchat I've been watching for a bit. I've been building a position in this zone right here between $21.24 and $22. As you can see, we have been basing here. And this 21.24 has been historical resistance. And you know what happens when you cross, when price crosses over resistance, it becomes support. And so support, 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 support. So we have resistance here. We've got support here. We are building a volume shelf. What's going to happen? If we can break over 22.57, we should skyrocket right to 24.31. That will be my plan. If we break 21.24, we get down somewhere over here, I'm going to exit this and say, have a nice day, Mr. Snap. I'll catch you next time. Because the next time we come back to 21.24, sure enough, I'm going to enter the trade again because this thing will take off. I think what we're waiting for is all this news about TikTok. Microsoft, Oracle, everybody, every tech company wants to buy TikTok. I think Trump said by a particular date, I don't know if it's the 15th of September or something like that, a decision needs to be made. I think personally Oracle is stepping in to drive the price up, but I think ultimately I think Facebook or Microsoft will be the buyer. It seems like Facebook already has Reels, so it probably makes more sense for Microsoft, although I just don't see Microsoft in this space. To me, that just doesn't make sense. But, we'll see what happens. But I think that's what's holding Snap back right now, at least. You see the 20 is acting as resistance right now. So I'd like to see this, again, consolidate, build our volume shelf, and eventually get back over our 20 to test this 22.57 and go higher. Next up is Visa. So if you've been watching iPay, which basically consists of, I think I had the list here somewhere, maybe not. But iPay basically is PayPal, Square, Visa, MasterCard. It's all the payment systems. I personally have been taking Square. Square's been on a nice run, although PayPal is setting up pretty nicely now. And for those of you, legacy players, Visa, MasterCard are also good prospects. So you can see we've been forming this symmetrical triangle, could also be viewed as a flag. And we've had these breaks above and haven't been able to hold it until today. So I think, we're over $200. Guess what? We have a volume shelf. Wow, surprise. So we're looking to see, if we can break above this level right here, we should start to move upwards of 210 to 214.06. And I think, it's these candles right here. We did come up to these two levels, and this is why I drew these two lines with the shaded area here, because this would be my target, 210 to 214 on Visa. So again, not really my cup of tea, so I'm not taking this trade, but happy to provide the idea for you. Next up is Workhorse. Workhorse is another one I've been building a position on. Why? Not necessarily from a technical standpoint, but because it is an infrastructure play. Workhorse manufactures electric utility vehicles, and if we do eventually get this stimulus whenever Congress decides to go back to work, lazy bums, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Do you think they can go back to work and figure these things out for us? You know, is it that hard? I mean, we did elect them, right? Okay, rant over. Anyway, so we have a descending triangle. We had a top, a bottom, a top, a bottom, a top. So we could potentially continue and do this until we get really tight and then eventually pop out or break down. But I'm thinking, you know, somewhere in this zone right here, we're probably going to get the stimulus bill. And when we get that stimulus bill, this is going to shoot up. So first target would be 17, then 20, then 22, which would be our high right here. So that's Workhorse. It's a patience play. I'm building common shares in this, not necessarily contracts, because of course we don't know when the stimulus bill is going to happen. It's more than likely going to happen overnight. So if you're not holding shares and you're waiting to buy contracts on the move, you might miss it. So that's why I'm just building shares right now, and I'll use my stop loss under 14.52, give or take, you know, a little bit of a leeway there. And last but not least, work. Work has been a bit of a bummer, but you know, we did play work for a while. We did pretty well on it. We did sell this top here. We did take a position here, and we sold pretty much right there. And now we're just waiting. I've been building, you know, again, let me zoom in here a little bit. You know, I could drop my anchored VWAP and see, yeah, so $32 is really my target. So what I did today, because we're getting tight and because I like the risk reward here, you can see, let me draw my drawing tool back. You can see, you know, we've been having these tests of this line. And we have these two tests right here. So, but what the key thing I'm seeing is this level holding right here. And so I took a position today right there, I think around 28.40, 28.50. Took a decent sized position because I'm just going to keep my stop loss right here. If we stop out at 27, yeah, I'm going to lose a couple of bucks, but it's really not that bad. What I'm looking for is, you see how the 20 is coming down and it's now acting as potential resistance with our downtrend line? If we can get over that, we are going to run right to $32. So what I did is I bought shares here, but I also bought contracts. I bought the 32 918s, I believe. It was either the 32 or the 34s. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was the 32s. But in any event, I think if we break this level here, forget about 30, we're going right to 32. That's been the key level that we haven't been able to hold over. You know, we break above it, then we fail. We break above it, and then we fail. We break above it, and then we fail. And we break above it, and then we fail. So I think once we get back to $32, there's a good chance we actually will break above this again. And you can see we have a little bit of a volume shelf here. We did lose it, but these volume shelves do act as magnets. So, you know, I'm thinking test, 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 breakout, consolidate, test, and then potentially break out or consolidate here. So that's my weekend review, or my midweek review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you're viewing this on Twitter, I'll drop the charts down in the comments. And yeah, just make sure you like this message, retweet it, share it, spread the word. You know, I do my weekend reviews and I do my midweek reviews. I chart like mad. So, you know, the more you guys support me and the more you guys and gals help me get the word out, the more motivated I am to continue to share the ideas that I have. So, in any event, I hope you enjoyed my content. Please keep in mind, I do have a trading service. I don't really plug it too much, but it's called Our Trading Edge. There are 3 top traders, 5 expert traders. We've got over 250 members now. And it's a great community. We really focus on education. We actually have our candlestick class tonight. So if you want access to that, I have a couple of open seats. Just DM me on Twitter. I'll give you access. It's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Printing Profit's going to be holding it. We do run 1 major class per month. We run 2 minor classes per week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we do a Sunday Zoom call at 8 p.m. And we do these Wednesday midweek reviews. So you get a lot of value for $50 a month. And, we've kept it at $50 a month because we're building out our educational platform right now. And so once the educational platform is done, which I'm anticipating is going to be done in the next 4 to 6 weeks, I know I've been saying that for probably about 4 to 6 weeks, but when you're recording a fully comprehensive day trade, swing trade, scalp trade, options trading video course, it takes time. We want to make sure it's great. It's packed full of content, packed full of value, packed full of knowledge. And so that's why we're keeping our rates low. As soon as that's done, our rates are going to go up. The good thing is, if you get in with us now, your rates are locked in perpetuity, aka for life. So if we raise our rates to $70 or $100 or $150, like most of these other services are, then you're gonna have to pay more for this content. And let me tell you, I'm not saying this because it's partly my service, but for $50 a month, forget about the signals, because the signals that we put out are really good. Forget about and push that to the side for the moment. And let's get on my soapbox real quick, and I'm going to take 2 more minutes of your time, and then we'll move on. But for $50 a month, basically $600 for the year, you're going to get a world-class education that you're not going to be able to get too many other places. Okay, some people pay tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars for college, for degrees that sometimes they don't even use. What happens if another pandemic happens? What happens if there's a global recession or a potential depression and you lose your job? How are you going to make money? And so that's what we're dealing with these days. That's why so many people are opening up Robinhood and Webull and TD Ameritrade accounts. People are at home, they're out of work or they're working from home, and they're looking for ways to make money. And so if you have, some sense of investing, most of us have a 401k or a retirement plan. I think this is a way to be the master of your own universe. What better education than a financial education? They're not going to teach you this in high school or college or anywhere. You can go on YouTube and learn some of this stuff, but the reality is I've found a lot of traders kind of meander through the content, and they really don't know where to start, and they really don't, they don't know how to access a curriculum. Do you want to be a swing trader or a day trader, and et cetera, et cetera. So, and then there's a lot of quote unquote gurus out there that charge $3,000 to $4,000 for their system. Some of them are okay, been there, done that, and some of them are not so okay. And so you got to be really careful. So why not join a service that gives you the value right up front, gives you the education, the classes, the midweek reviews, the signals, all in one for $50. I mean, it's just, we're going to raise our rates. I mean, I think that's just what it boils down to. So in any event, I really do hope you join us. We are offering a short-term 3-day trial. If you're interested, just DM me. I'll give you a link. You could try us out for 3 days. You could talk to some of the members, get their feedback. But I can tell you from my experience, the people who have been with us from the beginning, we've got like about a 90% retention rate. They see the value in what we're doing. They understand we're not, hiding our signals. We're not, we're teaching you what we're doing. We're not just telling you what to do. We want you to be a better trader, because in the end, for us, it's all about community. We want to build a community of competent traders, because I have only 2 eyes, my partners only have 2 eyes, but if our community is 200 people, then there's 400 eyes that are looking at the market at any given time. I have a bandwidth. Every trader, every person has their own bandwidth. So the more eyes, the more we see. And the more we see, the more chance that we catch that next winning trade. And maybe it's one of these 11. You never know. So enjoy your evening. Have a good day. We'll see you in the markets tomorrow. Take care.